Hello everyone, my name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and today I have a paper pumpkin alternate project for you, or I should say several projects, all tying within the same theme. So if you like alternate paper pumpkin videos, if you like crafting tutorials, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. I post videos every week. Here is the October 2021 paper pumpkin kit. This is called Peaceful Christmas. Okay, I was trying to do a Facebook Live yesterday, and I'm telling you, I'm having a lot of technical difficulties there, so I had to stop and start again, and it was a distraction. So I decided to do an alternate video for everyone since I couldn't do a smooth, easy demonstration yesterday. Now, I put the cards together yesterday, the ones that the Paper Pumpkin team designed, and they're beautiful. But the purpose of this video is to give you alternate ideas. So these are the two cards that the Paper Pumpkin team designed. These are the coordinating envelopes, which are lined with that buffalo plaid, silver foil detailing on a lot of the pieces here. Really, really wonderful kit. Okay, so if you are interested in signing up for Paper Pumpkin, it is a monthly subscription box from Stampin' Up. I have a link in the description of this video where you can go and subscribe. I highly recommend it. You will always get teasers every month as to what's going to be in the kit, but they don't do a full reveal. So it's like a little surprise coming to your mailbox every month. So affordable, and look at how you can extend the life of your kits with these alternate projects. So today we are going to be making treat boxes. And we're also going to be making a couple of 3x3 cards, and these are coordinating envelopes. So I did pull in some additional products for this alternate project, but I tried really, really hard to stick to the elements of the kit where I could. So I did change up some embellishments. I did add in some, envelopes and things like that. But all of the belly bands and everything that you are seeing are actually from the Paper Pumpkin kit. So if you are interested in seeing what the original cards looked like, the ones that the Paper Pumpkin team designed, this is one of the cards here. And then here is the other card. Okay, so again, I'm not gonna recreate these on the live. Stampin' Up has a video making these, and you could definitely go check it out on paperpumpkin.com or on their YouTube channel. But I'm going to be making the alternates, but I did want you to see this is how it started, and then this is how I sort of adapted it for the alternate projects. I'm just quickly going to talk about some of the alternate products that I used for this project, and I'll show you some ideas of what you can put into these boxes. So these are 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 inch acetate card boxes. If you were to purchase these, you get 10 to a pack. And this is wonderful. So if you are coming up with the holidays and you just want to have that little extra gift, number one, maybe you're having a paper pumpkin party and you want to have, just a really cute little favor or treat box or something like that. This is the perfect idea for that. Maybe you want to make this a family project, and you want to have little, smaller cards and smaller pieces that the kids can work with and put together while you're putting together a couple of the cards. That's a great idea too. Kids love getting little gifts and packages. We all do, right? Like there's still a kid inside all of us. And these are just so much fun. And one of the reasons why I was drawn to this was because of the sizing of everything in this kit. So what I mean by that is if you take a look at the stamp, okay, so this is one of the stamps that comes in this kit. It is the perfect size for these envelopes, okay? And it's the same with, if you look at Noel, okay? So Noel is a pre-cut die cut that came with this month's kit. Perfect sizing. That circle, that's a die cut that already came with the kit. Perfect sizing. Look at the vellum trees. already provided in the kit, already cut. That's not even an alternate item. Perfect sizing. And same with this banner, this real red banner. That is also pre-cut from the kit, and they just fit beautifully. So I had just done a project with these for Halloween. Let me show you. I did a few different versions, and I thought, oh my gosh, I have to do that with this kit too. Another alternate product that I am bringing in is the I think they're 3 1/8. 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 envelopes that you can get, the basic white envelopes that are available in the annual catalog. You can get a whole bunch of these to a pack. And these are actually the card, this is actually the card base from the Paper Pumpkin kit. And then this is just a piece of the basic white cardstock. Okay, so we're going to be recreating these and making these today. But again, so if you look at the sizing of the stamp, so, you know, wishing you and your family all the best from our home to yours, these are smaller fonts. And I think that smaller fonts are absolutely perfect on belly bands, on tags, on smaller cards and things like that. One of the things, one of the top questions that I get when I start showing gift packaging, whether it's a gift bag or a gift box or a treat box or something like that, is what can go in it? Okay, so what would you put in it? And depending on how you're going to use these, you could just do a little, you know, just a little thoughtful gift, like a favor. So these are tea bags. I highly recommend getting tea bags that match your optional, but it's always nice when you have gift bags or when you have tea bags that match your little gift packaging, or you just cover them up by the envelope and then no one will be the wiser. No one will know. So you could do just a couple of someone's favorite flavored tea and a little card just saying that you were thinking of them. You could do jewelry. I know that last year my aunt was giving out rosaries, and it was just in a little wrapped package that could fit really nicely in here. You could do food gifts. Okay, so I would make sure that whatever food it is that you're using is wrapped. But if you want to do that, you can. So it was recently my son's birthday, and he got a set of cookies in the mail, and that cookie fits perfectly in here. So these are, you know, standard size cookies that you would be making or maybe purchasing even from, you know, one of your favorite online retailers, and you want to, you know, put them all in a set of really cute gift boxes. So you could do cookies, you could do candy. Okay, so, and yes, I really, really wish that these had silver tips because silver is the accent in this particular month's box, but we'll deal with what we've got. Okay, so you could put some little food, candy items in here, just depending on what you're ordering, what their favorite treat is. You can fit probably even more than, yeah, look. So you could probably fit 3 or 4, just depending on how many you would want to put in here, with a little 3x3 card and envelope. Okay, so you could do that. Pez is one of my son's favorite little treats. It's a little motivator for him. Pez will fit in there nicely. These are the refill packs. And then one of my personal favorites that you could put in this, and let me show you, is you can get these ornaments, and you can see this one is older. So this one's actually from 2019, but I keep it here because I use it for ideas all the time. But you could remove the backing off of this. This is another budget item. Okay, every year I make ornaments for my family with my son's picture in it, and you can fit that. Let me get the candy out. You can fit that in here really nicely. So you would just remove the backing off of this. You can tuck that in this little gift box with a little card that says, you know, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you want your little note to say. And you can have a really adorable ornament in there for them just in time, you know, to put on their Christmas tree or on their mantle. If you have the Stampin' spots, like I get Paper Pumpkin kits every month, And I will save my little extra Stampin' spots just in case I ever want to make like a little gift or something for somebody. So any of the unopened Stampin' spots that you have, you can actually tuck in here, and you could just put just a little cute little craft thing in here too. So you could maybe cut a little sheet of embellishments in half, or do a little baggie of sequins with a little ink, maybe like a smaller block, and make them just a super cute little craft pack. And maybe it has all of the pieces for them to make their own little card. Here are 2 of the boxes, and it's using each of one of the cards. The belly bands are 2 different sizes here that you're seeing. This particular belly band, let me see if I can slide that off for you. And then this one here, okay, so this is a 2-inch belly band, and this is a 1.5-inch belly band. All right, and the reason that I'm pointing that out is because you can choose the size that you want, whatever works for you. But we're going to use the card bases to make our belly band. So let me go ahead and get one of each. Okay. You get enough for 10 cards in the original kit, 5 and 5. Okay, so you will have some to work with. Occasionally, there are refills that are available with paper pumpkin kits. I haven't checked to see if there's a refill on this one, but I imagine this would be a very popular kit for refills. There's also a product that you can get from the holiday catalog, or our mini catalog, Stampin' Up's mini catalog, that's called Peaceful Christmas Sweet Collection, which has very similar tones and themes and would coordinate perfectly with this kit. So I am going to cut 2 belly bands. I'm going to cut one at 1.5. So we're just going to go to the 1.5 mark here and cut. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to cut at the 2-inch mark. Okay. And then you could cut them, you know, all the way down. I'm going to cut 2 on this one just because of the pattern on here changes as you cut. Like this is solid, but this one is a pattern, and yes, it is painful to cut because it's so beautiful. But it also makes a really beautiful belly band. Okay, so just going to set those there. Okay, so now we have our pieces. We don't need to trim in terms of this way. So we have our belly band in terms of the width, but with the length, we're going to keep the whole length of the card. Okay. And there is a score line, okay, that is already scored into these card bases. Now, I would say to you, it depends on if that would bother you or not. I think that when you're looking at these, you aren't, you know, immediately noticing it unless I would point it out to you that there is a score line there. So after you decorate up your belly bands and everything, you can cover it so that you don't see it, you know, position things how you want, or you can try to score the belly band back out, you know, by smoothing the line down. But I don't think there's any need for that. You're really not going to be able to tell. But I just wanted to point that out because we are going to be adding our own score lines, and I'll show you, you know, we're going to ignore the middle one. Okay. So we're going to score this in a couple of places. We're going to score this at 2 1/8. We're going to score this at 3 inches. We're going to score this at 6 1/8 of an inch. And we're going to score it at 7 inches. Okay. The full length of this strip is 8.5. Okay. So this is the score line that we're going to ignore. We want to focus on the score lines that we just created. And an easy way to do that is by folding it as soon as you see it. So you won't, you know, you won't be folding this part. Now we're going to do the same exact thing on these two belly bands here. Okay, so for the next part of this, we're just going to get the elements that we're going to use for this particular belly band, and you will find these are really easy to make. Okay, so we're going to need one of our real red banners. We're going to need one of our vellum tree pieces. Okay, this is what it looks like when it comes in the box. We're going to need one of our sentiment pieces. This has that silver foiling on it. This was already part of the kit. And then we're going to stamp the Peaceful Christmas Wishes in Shaded Spruce, which is the ink spot that we get in this month's kit. What I like doing is when I start to assemble this, I like to get my adhesive on it. I've just been using the tear and tape adhesive. I just find that it's easy for this particular thing, but you could use whichever one you like. If you like to use your Stampin' Seal or Stampin' Seal Plus. I would say, you know, make your belly band, you know, firm, but you don't want it too tight that you're not going to be able to get it on and off of the box. It should be able to slide on and off easily. Okay. So, all right, here we go with this piece. And now we would just do our assembly, but I'm going to stamp this really quickly before we go ahead and assemble the rest of it. So I'm just going to get my Peaceful Christmas Wishes. Kept stamping really simple with these projects. Okay, so from the kit, we have these adhesive dots. So we're going to use these, and you will be able to see adhesive through vellum. So we're just going to strategically place our banner so that it covers the dots, the adhesive dots. So we're going to position our adhesive dots in a similar spot across all trees so that we know it'll be covered by that banner. Dimensionals come in your kit. I can't find mine, so I'm using an older pack, but they do. You will have them in your kit. There is adhesive provided in every single paper pumpkin kit. Just going to place that center. All right, and then I wanted to talk just for a moment about embellishments. So when you get your paper pumpkin kit, these are the embellishments that you get in it, and they are absolutely beautiful. So you can use these, or you could use an alternate embellishment. I used a combination of opal rounds on my samples, and also the red rhinestone. I also used the red rhinestone basic jewels. That's what was used on this particular belly band. I love these for multiple projects if you're going to be making bunches, because you get all the same size, all the same color. It is so wonderful when you're doing, you know, group project things. You know you're going to have enough. But one thing that I wanted to use when I was doing the replay here, or when I was recording, was to show you these. These are the sequins for everything. As far as I know, they are still available, and they are a perfect match. If you have these on hand, or if you're interested in getting these, they are absolutely wonderful and would be perfect for like belly band projects and things like this. I would recommend using your take your pick tool or something like that for your sequins, especially if you have to put your own adhesive on the back of them. Isn't that just so Christmas? I had to show it. So it's slightly different, same point. But one of the reasons why I wanted to show it is because we have the real red, we have the shaded spruce, and we even have white and silver that will go perfectly. Like these are, they look like mirrors, like little mirrors, and they will just go absolutely perfectly with this kit. For belly band number 2, we're actually going to cut the vellum trees in half. We're going to need our circle. So let me show you what that looks like. You get 5 sheets of these. There are 3 pieces in a sheet. We're going to be using this circle. Okay, and we only need 2 of the trees. So I'm just going to take my paper snips and I'm just going to trim these off. Okay, and you can, you know, make that tree look, you know, you can adjust the branch so that it doesn't look like a straight cut. So like here, I'm just going to round that off just a little bit. And I think that that looks fine. I'm not that worried about it. So we're just going to use 2 of the trees for this one. And now we're going to use our larger belly band. Okay, so we have this belly band here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to wrap it around. This belly band, in case you haven't realized, doesn't even need stamping. And now here are the opal rounds. You'll see that there are different sizes. So we have these smaller and these larger rounds. You can choose whichever rounds that you want, or you could do a variety of the 2. I just love them. They almost remind me of like a starry sky. I'll put a bigger one on the bottom. Okay. All right. And then there is belly band number 2. So here are belly bands 3 and 4. This one, we're actually going to use the envelope as a layer. And on this one, full disclosure, you guys, I messed up my sentiment originally, flipped it over to the back, put a bunch of stamps on it, and then cut this piece and put it across sideways. So it's visually interesting, but it's as a result of a mistake. We're going to start with this belly band here. All right, and so here's how we're going to do this piece. We'll walk through it together. So this is what the envelope looks like, okay? And this is useful for many different pieces and parts. So we are going to cut this strategically, okay? What we really need is a 1.5, or I think it's 1 3/4 in this case. So let me show you what I mean. I don't want to cut any of the tops of the trees off. I want the trees to remain intact. So I'm going to see what that would need to be. And that is 1 3/4 inches is where I was comfortable cutting. So that's where I'm going to cut here. Okay. Fun fact, this makes a little pocket. So if you want to do anything crafty with that, you could do that. But we're going to keep going here. So I am going to trim off one edge. Okay. And then I'm going to go to 3 1/8. We're going to cut again. Okay. So I'm just going to set these pieces aside for later. And now all we need to do is trim off this backside. Okay, so I'm just going to cut it right on the score line because I really want that whole image of the silver foil trees to stay intact. Okay, and we're just going to layer that right in the center over this 2-inch piece. Okay, we can save that piece for later too. Okay. Now this next part, which we're going to use another banner, I decided to step it up a notch and do some heat embossing because I wanted white. I wanted to have a nice standout crisp white stamp here. Now, if you have a really nice ink or something like that that you could use, that's great. I am going to do the heat embossing. So what I'm going to do is, actually, let me keep this closed for this part of it. I am going to get my embossing buddy. You just want some kind of an anti-static tool so that if you have any fingerprint grease or anything on there, or I shouldn't say grease, I should say oil. This will prevent the heat embossing powder from sticking to anything but the Versamark ink. We're going to use our Versamark ink. The stamp that I chose was From Our Home to Yours. And I can tell that that is a little bit crooked, but I'm going to go with it. If you don't want to do red, if you want to do white, just flip it over. So if you don't want to do heat embossing and you just want to stamp and have the white instead of the red, you could do that just as easily, okay? Especially if you're trying to go with a theme that doesn't have the traditional reds in it. Even though this is crooked, I'm just going to roll with it and hope that everybody forgives me because I am running out of banners. I think that's good. And then we're going to go back in. Now, if we wanted to do something different, we could go in and do the sequins. For the sake of time, I'll just go ahead and use my opal rounds again, or use your embellishments from the kit. You position them wherever you think that's cute. And that is belly band number 3. So for belly band number 4, we're going to actually continue with the envelope, the envelope that we were just cutting. So let me just set this off to this side, and here it is. Okay, so what we're going to do is trim off these edges of the envelope. Just going to keep it this way. It's easy because it's the straight side. You have that super cute piece if you want to use that on something. I mean, that looks like a piece of furniture, or like bedposts, like a headboard or something. That could be so cute. Anyway, you're going to have these leftover pieces. And we are going to, again, we're going to cut this to 1.5. And then we're going to cut it to 3 1/8. now keep in mind, because we are using envelope, it's not cardstock. Okay, so it's going to be a little more thin, and it's going to be a little more delicate to handle. Okay, and I'm just going to use a piece of scrap paper here to do this, but we're going to get our trees, and we're going to ink this up. And as a matter of fact, let me use a different piece here, because that has some embossing powder on it. I'll get this piece here. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up. It's nice having Stampin' spots with larger stamps, because you can really make sure that they're well inked. And I have to say, this ink spot is nice and juicy. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do slightly off. So like stamp off this way. You want to press down. This is a photopolymer stamp. So you could use your foam mat or something to give it a little extra cushion. I don't have that down, and if you don't have it, don't worry about it. Just give the ink a second to transfer, put nice pressure on your stamp. So I'm just going to ink this up one more time. There is a difference. We have photopolymer and we have cling stamps. Just had a huge sale on the cling stamps, which was so nice, can I just say. But photopolymers are cool because you can see through them. The main difference is that cling stamps already have the foam padding on them, and photopolymers do not, which of course is why you can see through them. Okay, so we have our tree impression here. And now we're just going to take our other belly band, which was from our card base, wrap this around. Okay, so for example, when we were talking about that, that score line that's through the card base, if that bothers you, we're going to completely cover it. Okay, so there are always ways that you can, do that. And let me just get some adhesive on here. I was wondering, that was slightly off. I'm like, why is that not going to the edge? Okay. You don't need that much adhesive, by the way. That was just me trying over and over again to get that right. All right, so we're just going to position this right over the band. And if you want to just stamp it right onto the card base and not have the plaid, you could do that too. Or I should say buffalo check. Okay. All right, so the next piece is actually this sentiment piece. And this is what I was talking about with making a little mistake. Okay, so I flipped it over onto the back. I just want to show you guys what I did, just in case you want to do it too. But you do not have to. So just know that. There is it's like a cluster of different snowflakes. It's one stamp, but it has several snowflakes on it. And if you look at the instructions, it will tell you what the alternate colors in your paper pumpkin kit are. And it's real red, basic gray, and silver. And then of course, shaded spruce is the star of the show. And that's what the Stampin' Spot is. So we're going to use basic gray. Okay. So we're going to stamp all over this. Cutest little snowflakes. And I'm just kind of adjusting my angle as I go. Trying not to overlap. And if I see any empty spots, I'll try to fill it. Okay, so there we go. All right. That is what that looks like. If you just want to do a layer like that, you have that. On top of that, I decided to stamp the trees. And I was really focused more on the tops of the trees, on the lower part of, you guys can't see that I'm inking that. Hold on one second. Okay. Of course, we don't need to ink them all, so I'll just ink this section right over here. And then we're just going to go low. So kind of like that, just to make it look like a little bit of a tree line. And then I wanted to stamp my Merry Christmas stamp above it. But when I did that, I felt like it didn't show right, like it didn't look right. So I ended up covering it and doing a heat emboss banner and trimming off the edges and just making it sideways, because that was literally how I had to make it fit. Now, when I do all of that again, like, I don't think it's necessary. And you can see, even though I did all that on the back, it still looks cool, like good here. So I'm going to do the original version that I was going to do. And that is the real red. And of course you could do your shaded spruce too. Okay, that was what it was supposed to look like. And that is definitely the simpler version, but at least you know what I did. Okay, and then that's going to go up on dimensionals right into the center. If you ever mess up your your sentiment pieces that are die cut or pre-cut in these kits, always you can use the other side. Don't feel like you have to give up on it. And if you don't want to stamp a sentiment on the back, you could make it a layer. You could always make it just like a little piece of pattern paper layer. All right, and then on this one, I did actually use the embellishments from the paper pumpkin kit. I mean, you guys, I really wish that we sold these like as in full packs, because they are gorgeous. So shimmery. Okay. There we go. All right, so you can decide, do you like the simpler version or do you like this fancied up label? All right, there is belly band number 4. Let's talk about our little 3x3 cards. If you're still here, if you're still hanging out with me, thank you so much. I know there's a bunch of projects here, but they're little and they're adorable and they're easy. And this is also a project that is ideal for your scraps, okay? Especially when it comes to 3x3 cards. So here are the 2 cards. Here are our 2 envelopes. This is stamped in shaded spruce. This is stamped in basic gray, just so that you guys know. And I'm going to set these aside. And then for our little card bases, we're actually going to use a card base from the kit here. So let me just, we're going to get back to this again. And here is how I ended up making the 3x3 work for me. You can do this however you want. If it pains you to see me cut it this way, grab a piece of your shaded spruce cardstock and just do 6" by 3" and score it 3. I'm actually trying to use as much as I can from the kit. So we're gonna work with this piece here. And the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna keep my score line on the 3" mark. Okay, so I can still line it up down here to make sure that I'm at that 3" mark or as close as I can get. And I'm going to trim. And now I'm going to go to the 3" mark again. And I'm going to cut. And now I'm going to go to the 3" mark with my score line again. And you can see I'm on that line and I'm going to cut. And that gives me a 3x3 card. I'm a little off. Okay, so I'm just going to trim to make that even. I'm probably slightly under 3. So So just trim off the excess, make sure your card's okay. We're all good here. All right. Pushed a little bit hard on that. And then we have our scraps that we can use for layers on something else, okay? Now we're also gonna do a basic white 3x3 while we're at it. And I'm gonna grab one of my pieces of scrap paper. Okay, so let's take a look and see what the measurement is. And it looks like I'm just about already at 3 for this, maybe slightly over. So I'm just gonna cut this to 6 inches. And we're gonna score at 3. Make sure you don't cut. Move that out of the way. Get your scoring tool. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take my bone folder and get a nice crisp fold on this, both of these. Okay. And we're going to keep our trimmer here because we're going to do some trimming. On each one of these cards, I actually use the black and white layer because it's too good not to use. And just remember, we've been using this on other things, so we have leftover pieces, right? So we're going to use up as many pieces as we can. And I'm going to cut this to 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So let's start here. Okay. And we're all good, okay? For this card, really, really nice and easy. For the one, the basic white card, I decided to go with the piece that had more trees on it. Okay, so we're going to put that down. Just center that up. Okay, and now we get these little pieces of, it's like a gray wood piece. It's a punch out piece from this sheet here. Okay, and then we are going to heat emboss this one. Okay, and then stamped on the inside, it says, wishing you and your family all the best in basic gray. Okay. Make sure it's the right side up. Okay, so there is our little 3x3 card number 1. And I'm going to grab an envelope here. And we're going to get our trees, which I think I cleaned off, but let's just be sure. So we're not getting green on our gray. Give that a nice firm press because with an envelope, there's 2 sides that you're dealing with. All right, and there it is. Isn't that cute? All right, and then we have one more card to put together here. So let me just set that aside. And we're gonna start with our base again. Or I should say our initial layer again, and this is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 leftover piece from another card that we cut up for a belly band. we're going to take the leftover trees that we had from what we had trimmed on the other. We're going to take one of these circles. We're going to do our heat emboss with the snowflake stamp. Finally, for your scraps, so if you have strips just like this, these little 1/2-inch strips that are left over, I already stamped the wishing you and your family all the best. I'm just going to trim this off with the trimmer real quick. You can strategically cover that adhesive. All right, and then if you want to add some embellishments, you can definitely do that right here. All right, and then there's our second card. And of course, you're gonna stamp your envelope in that shaded spruce. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me today. If you're interested in signing up with Paper Pumpkin with me as your demonstrator, there is a link in the description of this video. And of course, be sure to subscribe to my email list, which is the first place where I share all information regarding new products, classes, events, and Facebook Live projects. All right, be sure to stay tuned for the next video, which is coming up right now.